myself, I
Perfect.
always
I
kind
love it
of,
when we go in
I
media
always kind
res
of,
there.
I always kind of grumpily tell people I don't write instruction manuals except for know your station.
Yeah, and I'll introduce the show in a second. But the Lazarus, Greg Rucka's book just came back, and one of the things that he wrote in his note at the end is like, this was supposed to be a possible future cautionary tale, like now because Lazarus is set up as uh the date system is X plus whatever number of years. And he's like, we really, really didn't want to not be done with the series when year X came. We're not entirely certain what year it was, but we're pretty certain it's in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, where I feel that.
So we started nice and in media res there. I like it when that works out that like we go, oh, we should record and not lose the good stuff. And as I'm hitting record, we start with more good stuff. So welcome back to 22 Panels, everybody. My host today is, or no, I'm the host. That's right. My guest today is the amazing Sarah Gailey. Did you get the email I sent on Thursday? Every time I go to that library, there's another book of yours on the recommendation.
I did. That was so awesome.
That's the library closest to my high school, and I really only go when I'm taking kids there. Ah, and Ace is here,
Great.
but I really only go there when I'm taking kids. But they've got like this pillar of recommendations, and every time I go, there's another Gailey book.
Oh
Um,
my God. So great. And I love being featured at libraries. I'm a huge library stan. So
yeah.
every time I find out that librarians and I are in like a mutual admiration society situation, it just makes my day.
Well, and you're always on a separate section of it too, which is also the problem finding your books in bookstores. I've been at bookstores that there are Gailey books in as many as five different sections, not including the graphic novels.
But my poor marketing and publicity team, we're working on a novel that I have coming out next year that hasn't even been announced yet. So I can't say anything about it other than I turned it in and we spent about a week going back and forth with my incredible marketing and publicity team trying to figure out what genre it is. Just saying, just what shelf does it go on? And they kept asking me, like, what shelf could you see this on in the bookstore? And I would say, any of them. And they were like, that doesn't help us do our job.
Yeah, no, Ace, are you with us?
We're working on it. We're trying to figure out the camera right now.
Well, that's cool. I just wanted to make certain that you could hear and you're allowed to say hello. Hi,
Yes,
Ace.
sorry, I don't like interrupting. Also,
No,
there's the
that's
camera.
cool.
Thank
My
you.
my, my co-host Ace has joined us. Ace, Sarah Gailey, Ace.
Hello.
Wonderful to meet you.
It's nice to meet you too. I'm sorry, I'm like all over the place. I thought it was the 5th, not the
Oh,
6th.
you know, well, but that would have been yesterday, and you didn't give me an email saying
I
10.
no, I thought today was the
Oh,
5th.
today was the 5th. I gotcha.
I'm all
Gotcha.
over the place.
I had that
I
happen
feel you
recently.
so hard. I'm so
We,
glad I'm not alone in
yeah,
being in that
no,
vortex.
we took a day trip on the 3rd that was long enough that we had a friend come to let our dog out. And at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon on the 2nd, my door opens and I'm like, "Hi, Elijah. What's going on?" He's like, "What are you doing here?" And I'm like, it's tomorrow that you." He's like, "You said it was the 3rd." I'm like, "Yes, and today's the 2nd." He's like, uh
I gotta tell you, I've got a ton of travel coming up in July. I'm gonna be in Colorado, Minnesota, and Ann Arbor. And
wow.
I have all these like travel dates and all these itineraries, and it's all very close together. And the chances of me showing up at an airport a day early are like, I'm gonna say 75% at this
Well,
point.
well, like between Minnesota and Ann Arbor is Chicago, so you can just come visit me.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll just swing by. I'm
Yeah,
not gonna warn you I'm coming though. I'll just show up.
cool, cool. I'm not going to tell you on air, but like off air, I'll tell you where we hide the key.
Oh,
What?
well, I'm gonna climb in through a window, but that works.
I mean, I suppose you could do that, but we have cats that really like to escape, so I think I'd rather
Oh
just
yeah.
tell you where the key is.
Yeah, that
In
makes sense.
fact,
Okay. Yeah.
on that day, we'll finish the wrong day story. And Elijah, if you're listening, I'm so sorry for throwing you under the bus. And this is what you get for being my comic book buddy who hasn't appeared on the podcast yet. Um, so he's standing in the doorway talking to me, and like we have one cat. Who we will probably see. Eddie makes regular appearances on 22 Panels. Sarah, I think you've met Eddie before.
I think so.
For that matter, Ace, you've met Eddie
I
before.
was gonna say, I think I have.
I don't get to sit on Zoom very often and not have Eddie decide to join me. Um, but Elijah's watching him and the door's closed, or at least the screen door is closed, but he's still standing in the doorway because what Elijah didn't know is that Eddie knows how to open the screen door.
Oh,
Oh no.
why does the cat know how to open the screen door? Hold on.
Well, because it's one of those handles that goes up and down. So he knows that he can stretch up, push the handle up, and use his weight to
Great.
push the door open
You've
and
got a little
slip
escape
out.
artist.
Right. We had to replace our screens not long after we got them, which with like heavy duty screens after we left a window open, not even that much, so that we had airflow while we were gone. We were out like grocery shopping, right? And we come home and there's this little hole in it that he's torn open so that he can go explore the neighborhood.
Oh, I had a cat like that growing up, but he weighed about 18 pounds, and so he made a little hole in a screen door with his very sharp claws, and then used his considerable bulk to then rip the rest of the screen out through the
Yeah.
hole, and there was just like a Kool-Aid Man
Yeah, sounds about
hole
right.
left in that screen.
That's how cats roll. It's
Hmm.
totally how cats roll. So Sarah, we have so many cool things to talk about, and then we'll probably just ramble. And we're on a schedule because you're doing like home improvement projects or something. So,
Um, I had I had 4 hours on a belt sander yesterday, and I can feel every muscle in my body talking about it today.
and see, that makes two things that you do much better than me. Writing, at least I know how to write, but you do it better. And I don't even think I know how to use a belt sander. So, like,
You really just hang on for dear life. It's like riding a mechanical bull. My sweet angel, the orbital sander, would never be so cruel to me.
oh, so since we're a comics podcast, we should start with two things. First, like know your station. We won't get too deep into it, except that like anybody who wants to like dig into the details of the audacious, asinine, asshole bill that passed on Thursday. I won't use the triple B's. I need triple A's so it goes higher in the phone book. Um, it looks like it used it as a roadmap. It's like, oh wait, there's money to be had in prisons and incarcerating people. Ooh, and we can use them as labor. Fantastic. Why are you giving these ideas for free? We
And
don't
you,
even have the space station yet to take over.
I'm gonna say the same thing I always say, which is I'm just not all that creative. And everything I pulled for the world building for Know Your Station was taken from roadmaps being laid out by the people
Yeah.
who've been laying the groundwork for the murder bill.
Yeah.
Um, but
Murder
yeah,
Bill. I like that too.
I really, we were talking before we started recording about, writing kind of prescient stuff, and I just didn't think it would come to pass so quickly that
Yeah.
they would be enacting all of it's like a montage. There's like three panels in Know Your Station that try and explain this, but um in that universe, the government of planet Earth, basically, the dominant sort of coalition of nations on Earth are being
Is
run
it
by
even really
people
just a
who
government, or is planet Earth now just the prison and the rich people are up on the station?
it's sort of a prison farm. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, we gotta make sure that you give birth to people so we can imprison them and then use them for corporate labor. And of course, all the interests that are driving that effort in Know Your Station are corporate interests because what is fascism but uniting the interests of the state with the interests of corporations?
Pretty much.
And
Pretty
living in
much.
the US right now
You
is
seem a little too excited about that, Sarah.
just just love seeing through time. Sure wish I wasn't seeing backwards through the wormhole into such a specific period of time.
It would
But
be
hey, at the
nice.
end of that period of time, something happened to Mussolini that could happen to other people now. So
Hey, fingers
not
crossed.
for legal purposes, that is a joke.
Yes, totally, totally, totally. And we weren't talking about any specific people.
There were
Just,
specific things that happened to Mussolini. He ate lunch a couple times, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm certain he played football that we know as soccer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
So Ace, that's your
whew.
next reading assignment. Pick up Know Your Station by Sarah Gailey and Leanna
I lost
Kangos.
all the things you gave me last time. I have no idea where the photo went. No clue. It's gone.
You have email. You can just like ask me again.
Yeah. I was embarrassed because I deleted it.
No, that's cool. That's
I didn't do it
cool.
intentionally.
I have to ask questions like that all the time. Um, and I'll also toss out because this one's for Ace, and then we'll talk about your book coming out this week, Sarah.
Already
Uh,
fun.
but beneath the trees where nobody sees, Rite of Spring #1 comes
Huh?
out on Wednesday.
My mother
So
has.
so no. Patrick Horvath is returning
I
to the
know.
universe. So the first issue of the new series comes out this Wednesday at
I
your local
will.
comic shop. Find your local comic shop.
I will check that
Also
out.
on Wednesday is Predator: Black, White, and Blood, which will become the first Predator comic that I ever read because Gailey has a story in it, and
I
I
have
go
no
where
idea
you
what that is.
go. I go where you go, Gailey. It's like Kelly Thompson made me read fucking G.I. Joe. I read G.I. Joe. Is Kelly Thompson, and it was good. I liked it. I'm not upset that I read G.I. Joe, but I want to be upset that I read G.I. Joe.
You can be upset that you liked G.I. Joe.
No, Kelly did a really good job with it.
Well, I think you're gonna have a great time with Predator.
That's what I suspect.
Predator is it's a media property existing that is owned by a large corporation. And so there's some bumpers that get put on stories
Yeah,
around what you can do.
Like
Um,
sensors?
um,
bumpers, kind of
What are bumpers?
sensors.
yeah,
It,
like
it,
standards and practices, which is yes, censors. Um, Basically, they take a look at the script to make sure that it aligns with the large corporations' kind of principles and values, and
That makes sense.
then legal looks at it to make sure that I'm not going to get that big corporation sued. So, for example, one of the bumpers that got put on my comic in this Predator Black, White, and Blood by legal was that I could not use symbols that belong to specific existing hate groups in the US because those hate groups will sue because they'll say, hey, like,
we're not a hate
we,
group. How dare you portray us that way?
not even that. They'll, like, the Klan will say, yeah, we're a hate group, but you
We
can't use our,
copyrighted
like,
that.
trademarked copyrighted logos and
That's
symbols,
our copyrighted logo.
which
That's
that was a tough one for me and the artist, Fran Galan, really stepped up in including hate symbols that would not get us sued. Um, because the comic that I wrote has a Yacha warrior infiltrating a weapons and tactics conference. This is a type of conference for people who like to call themselves something called a war maker, um, or war fighter. It's basically people who are like so excited to dress up in their little soldier outfits and go find technology that will let them kill people without ever having to come face to face with those people. We're talking like distance ballistic missiles, hunter killer reaper drones, you know, um, crowd suppression technology like LRADs and Stingray devices that sweep cell technology. And of course, there's always a lot of guns. There's always a lot of guns.
I was gonna say something and then I stopped. I heard guns and I went, ooh.
Sarah, did you see the lawsuit that got filed right after the bill passed? Apparently because they removed the tax on machine guns.
Right.
Which was the basis for the law on making it harder to own machine guns. That it was a tax law, not a gun control law. Like within an
So we just
hour,
eliminated the tax.
within an hour of the bill passing and the tax being eliminated, there was a group that sued to have the entire law eliminated because if it's not a tax law, it violates the Second Amendment. And unfortunately, with this court,
Oh yeah, that's they're gonna get everything they want.
it's going to be like, I mean, where does it stop? You want to have your own nuclear warhead? Well, the Second Amendment says shall not be infringed.
Well, the other thing is they've gone fully mask off now about why people who are so passionate about this want to be able to own that kind of weaponry. For a long time, they've been like, well, to rise up against a tyrannical government. And it's like, okay, well, masked,
Tyrannical government.
unidentifiable government representatives are kidnapping people in the street. You got your tyrannical government. But of course, the actual history of gun control in the United States originates during the Reagan administration. He was freaked out because the Black Panthers were taking advantage of military laws.
The Reagan gubernatorial administration.
Yes, yeah,
he was
sorry.
the governor of California.
My California ass is really showing.
Right. When he was the governor of California, he passed the most strict gun control laws ever. But that was because of the Black Panther Party. You know, when black people want guns, we gotta get in the way.
No, especially when they're using those guns to reinforce their right to observe law enforcement
police
activity.
officers. Yes.
Yeah. And Reagan said, not on my watch. But if you tell gun control people that Reagan was the one who started all this, I think they'll lose their mind.
I mean, honestly, it starts earlier than that. There were gun control laws from day one. You know, I mean, half the Wild West towns, you know, you weren't allowed to carry your guns in town. You know, Massachusetts had gun control laws. Black people were never allowed to own guns at the level that white people were.
Sure.
Try being a woman and buying a gun before 1870.
Even now, I think people still look at you weird.
Yeah. But like you literally wouldn't have been allowed to.
Yeah.
Literally wouldn't have been allowed to. That's a rabbit hole. We don't have to go any further down. I got a better idea. How about love letters? Tell us about love letters. Your current year-long project during you call this your sabbatical, but you don't seem to. Seems like you take. It seems like your vacation is I do only 80% of the word work that I normally do and 150% of the home improvement work that I normally do.
I really hate how right you are. Yeah, my intention with this 6-month sabbatical was to really step away from work to recover from burnout. And I knew ahead of time, I was like, okay, I'm going to be doing like probably 10% work still because that's just the nature of the job that I have. If I took 6 months of doing no work at all, then I would have a year with no income after. So I was anticipating a little bit of work, but it's turned out to be quite a lot of work. And this project, Love Letters, Reasons for Being Alive, is a big part of that. It's a year-long essay series. It's being published digitally, and then backers who contributed a certain amount are also getting physical copies of the zine. And it's a collection of essays and art from various incredible contributors about the things that keep them going, even when it's really hard to keep going. And some people are writing about, sweeter, more lighthearted stuff. I've got a great comic from my beloved collaborator, Liana Kangas, about collectibles, and other people are going a little
Stealing library books.
Yeah, what?
Uh-huh. And then I've got other people, diving into some very real grief. I've got an essay from Annalee Newitz about their father's death by suicide. And I've got some really, really moving essays about just the pain of being alive and the way that being alive remains worth it when that pain is there.
Well, and I mean, just in the volume 2 that came last week before, sometime recently, it came in the mail. After I booked this interview, so my wife's like, Gailey sent you something. I'm like, oh, it's probably love letters, but got to check it out immediately anyway, just in case. Um, but like the kindness of strangers from Meg Ellison and love resized to a 4x6 both stood out to me as the a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, kindness of strangers, a lot of the stories she told of either people being kind to her or her opportunities to be kind to others also involved something terrible happening that required the kindness.
Yes,
uh,
yeah.
and the letters from 4x6 was like the from can't I remember the name of the author because my memory is just
Oh,
terrible.
Jade Song.
Jade Song. I can tell you the entire lineup of the 1989 Cubs, but like the
But
author
none
of
of
the
them
thing
wrote
that I
essays
read
for
5 minutes
unfortunately.
ago, I'd have to write that down 1,000 times. Taking um, is really about not having a home and traveling versus now traveling with a home and
Hmm.
how actually missing and looking forward to going home changes travel and wants you to keep connected while you're gone rather than having travel be that thing that you're doing and oh God, is it time to go home? No, I don't want to go home. Um,
I think the last time I recorded with you was when I was going through the thing that made me come up with the concept for this essay series. Um, Late in 2023, I found out that my partner of many years had been having an extended affair, and my life just totally blew up. And logistically, she needed some time to find a place to stay. So I went to go stay with friends. And I ended up staying with various friends around the world for about 3 months. Um, I I left and I just did not want to come back. And it was my heart was completely broken. I was devastated and I was clinging to my friendships to keep going on. I was like, and I would tell my friends up front, I would say, hey, can I come stay with you? Just so you know, I'm not a good time right now. And I do not want to continue existing, but I'm doing my best. And they all
but
said
that's
yes.
also why I need to stay with somebody.
Exactly.
Not a good time to
And
be alone in a hotel room.
everyone said yes.
Yeah.
Of course
And
they did.
every person I showed up to, um, starting with Liana, greeted me with such care and kindness and thought and comfort. And after about 2 months, I was in an RV with my best friend driving up the California coastline, trying to convince her to move to California. And we stopped to eat oysters at this spot called Hog Island up near Point Reyes. And at that place, you sit out over the bay. You sit on a dock that like sits out over the bay, and you eat oysters that came from that bay while you're watching like cormorants dive into the water. And I turned to her and I said, I'm so happy to be alive right now. And she started crying and she said, that's the first time I've heard you say anything like that in months. And I started crying and we cried and then we ate a lot of oysters and French fries. And I thought, oh, this is it. Like, this is the thing that people are going to need in the year and years to come is a reminder of why they keep going, because I'm not going to be the only one feeling this way in the near future. Again, wish I had been less right.
Huh?
I wish
She
I had been
wishes
less
she'd been
correct.
less right about the need for
Yeah.
people to have reminders.
You know why I agree with that.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But it would be so wonderful if none of us needed these, if like we just woke up in the morning and went, it's great to be alive, rather
It
than
would
needing
be amazing if
wonderful
that were the
things to
case for
read
everyone.
or so I know I like this has been the longest it's taken to book you for an interview. I think one of the times you came on, I texted you in the morning and you were on like the next day, the next evening. But you wound up having so many people interested in this project when it was kickstarting that you couldn't fit me in as my little dinky podcast that but wasn't gonna blow up your already huge number yet, and that I was in favor of that. I'm just and then you started your sabbatical and kept traveling, and I got busy and you got busy, and we're finally getting back together, and there's already 2 volumes of this out. And like Ace, if you're not on her mailing list yet, you should be. We'll make
I
certain that
am
that
not, but I
happens.
have no idea how to do that.
Well, we can make it happen, and then you'll get these things in your email, and you'll have what I have, which is every once in a while you'll have a stone soup in your email, and you'll go, "Ooh, I need to read this right now because it will make me smile."
Yeah, I'm already listening, and I want to read some of these
Yeah,
things. And it's hard. I got to see if I can find some sort of audio recording of it, or maybe have my mom read it with me. We'll figure it out.
yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Actually, that's something that maybe Gailey, would you be interested in making audiobooks of these?
Absolutely. I would have to confirm that I have the rights
Yeah,
um, in the contracts that people sign, but I would be so excited, especially if I could get contributors reading their own pieces
right.
or getting, maybe some professional readers to record. I think that is going to be a year 2 project, though.
Well, what I
Um,
will toss out, Gailey, is we've done the audio version of the Santo Sisters Halloween special, and we're working on more audio versions of Santo Sisters. If you want to go lo-fi,
great.
we will totally help out.
Fantastic.
We'll
Because I
just
know
record it over Zoom, maybe with commentary at the end.
Uh-huh.
the
Perfect.
first book of yours I read was Magic for Liars, and I had an audiobook version of that, and that's the only reason I haven't read your books. For me, it's really hard to read.
Yeah.
So having that accessible for other people like me, I think would be cool. I don't know if
I
that's something
mean,
you do, though.
my novels and novellas all get audiobook versions,
Audiobooks.
and I get to work with Xe Sands, who
Yeah, I was about
is
to say most of them are XE Sands
What's
who
Pixie Sands?
they're
they
I'll
are
let
the
you answer.
narrator who reads my books for audiobooks, and they're absolutely incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm finally listening to of course I can't remember it because but I have my phone here so I can look it up because I'm listening off of the phone. I think the only thing of yours that's out that I haven't listened to yet, um, because it struck me as painful enough and I was right that I like needed to be in the right place. Just like home. I'm listening to Just Like Home right now.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad that you're in a good place, and I
Yeah,
hope you
no, that was
continue being in a good place even after reading.
yeah, no, it doesn't have the humor of your other books.
No. Well, that's kind of the thing is my novellas tend to be a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
My comics are where I really exercise a lot of my goof tendencies. I really am just like a poster at heart, and so that's what I put in my comics. But my novels are a little more grounded, shall we
Yeah.
say?
Hey,
Though
variety's
I
fun.
mean, yeah, the ones that qualify as YA, the Magic for Liars and the When We
Magic
Were
for Liars is
Magic.
actually not young adult. It focuses on adult characters, but
It,
When We Were Magic is.
It
you
does focus
know,
on adult characters, but it's in the school libraries.
yeah, it's in the yeah,
Well, libraries usually
and
carry adult books as well.
yeah, no, I know, but what I was going to say is, yes, it focuses on adults, but it focuses on adults at a high school. So that I think kind of puts it in that gray area. I think it's one that I would absolutely recommend heavily to high school kids. I know that
You
it's official. Yeah, I know its official designation is not young adult, but young adult is such a weird designation anyway.
Well, and I'm never going to be mad at anybody telling anybody else to read my books. So if you need to call it YA to do that, then I'm by all means.
I mean, honestly, I thought it was funnier when I found Magic for Liars in our, or no, when I found When We Were Magic in our school library, because and I
Is
think
that the one
I
you
wrote
showed
you
me the other day?
maybe, and I because I'm like,
The first few lines, I think, was
yeah,
the
Uh-huh.
no, I can't be the one to recommend that. Gailey, you're gonna get me fired if I tell anybody to read your. They take it home and
Sometimes
their parents open the first page. Oh yeah, Mr. E said it was great. Ah!
like the most banned and challenged book, and I'm including Upright Women Wanted in that assessment. And Upright Women Wanted is explicitly anti-fascist and says it is good to shoot armed people who are chasing you on
Right.
horseback, regardless of whether they're part of a sheriff's posse or not. And no,
Right.
it's the young adult that's about
Well,
friendship
because they don't
that gets
actually
the
have to
most
read
banned and
much of
challenged.
it. They just have to open
Uh-huh.
it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you
Page
put a
one.
picture on page one and just buried that a little bit more, it wouldn't be challenged as much. But you just come right out of the gate.
There was no subtlety about it.
It's really funny when we were sending that one out on submission to try and get it published. Every publisher we sent it to, we it got turned down by like 9 publishers, all of whom said, "I love this book. It's a great book. It's an amazing book. I will not be able to hand it to my sales department because they will look at the first page and say, absolutely not." And then finally, um, it was my editor Lisa, who at the time was at Simon Pulse, who decided to take a chance on it. I'm so thankful to her. She's also the person who first really challenged me to think extremely critically and affectionately about Batman because she's a huge Batman fan. And when we sat down to meet to talk about this book, she said, "Before we talk about this book, I want to talk to you about Batman." And
Okay, now I need to talk to you about Batman. What are your thoughts on Batman?
I think the most interesting thing about Batman is the villains.
Okay.
That's where my interest in Batman really sits. Like I find um, that world to be incredibly ripe for creativity in villain design. And I just feel like deep affection for the sort of uh, gutter carnival aesthetic of the villains in that world.
I love the Bat family. And really the Bat family that is way more about taking care of Bruce than Bruce taking care of them, which is something that he often doesn't seem to grasp.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and I also love Tom King's run because suddenly Batman had feelings other than revenge,
Hmm. Yeah, I mean,
which
Tom
like
King so often just brings the noise to whatever property he's working on.
yeah. We actually have a book club right now that is me and Psychocomicology, which are psychologists and psychiatrists who use comics in their practice.
Oh, cool.
And we are going through work by work, chronologically the works of Tom King and looking at them from a psychological perspective.
Oh my gosh, that sounds amazing.
I
Yeah, it
told
does
him
sound amazing.
it's on 22 panels, psychopharmacology, visionaries, and inquiries. We're actually about to start Batman later this month. Um, but I told him this is C2E2, and he was first horrified, and then, no, that tracks. Be kind to me. So, yeah, no, he does. I like the way he's made. It's not that there were no feelings in superheroes before Tom King, but I think he's made them okay in a way that no other creator pulled off. You know, they
He's
were the
really good at the complexity, and he's got a really strong sense of dialectic.
yeah,
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 which I really appreciate.
yeah.
I think that's something that has been more at the forefront in a lot of contemporary superhero comics is a like dialectical perspective on the emotions involved in perpetrating violence in the name of justice.
Mhm.
And the way that, even a deep connection to principle that says I have to commit this violence in the name of this justice or this goodness still has the kind of indelible impact of having hurt someone. And I do think that Tom King was like instrumental in bringing that into the
Yeah.
conversation in a
I mean,
big mainstream way.
it's what happens when somebody's allowed to work their PTSD out on the page.
Yep.
We'll give you more reading. We'll keep giving you more reading, Ace. Bet you never thought I'd wind up telling you should read some Batman.
I might. My mom might have some, actually.
Um, Tell us about the new book, Sarah.
Okay. This is coming out in September, September 23rd. I have a novella called Spread Me hitting shelves. And it is an erotic horror take on The Thing. Um, John Carpenter's classic film, one of
Yeah,
my
yeah, I
favorites
was
of
about to
all
say John
time.
Carpenter, not Fantastic
Mhm.
Four.
Yeah, I don't
Being
need to
this
introduce an
comic books
erotic
podcast,
take
we need
on that.
to.
The Thing. AO3 is all over. John Carpenter's The Thing. Just a horror classic, an all-timer, focused on isolation and mistrust. And I just thought they gotta be exploring each other's bodies at that research base. So I I wrote this novella, and it's funny because I wrote Spread Me to have fun writing. I had been really just up to my eyeballs in this novel that's coming out next year, which was excruciating to write. I had to rewrite it like 5 times, and it's just really brutal. And so I turned in a draft, and I went, if I don't write something fun, I'm gonna fucking die. So I wrote this novella that is about what if the specimen and the thing that the research team brings into the station um, develops an erotic fixation on the lead researcher and starts trying to seduce her by impersonating her teammates. The thing that the thing the specimen doesn't realize is that the lead researcher is only erotically interested in viruses. And so there's a real like disconnect between how the specimen is trying to seduce her and what she actually wants. And I wrote it to have fun, and I had so much fun writing it. And I got this title through the door somehow, Spread Me, which is of course a double entendre about viruses and other stuff. And now it's coming out. And if the Project 2025 losers get their way, this might be the book that puts me in jail. It's
I
queer
hope not.
erotica,
Oh,
and they want to label that degenerate art and imprison people who write it. So I'm looking at going on tour in September. Um, please buy copies of this book if you're listening to this, and you might be funding my bail.
Yeah, I've already pre-ordered, so I know some lawyers. I know some lawyers who know some lawyers,
Great.
Drop me a line if you need one. See what
Chad,
we can do.
please help me do that later because I don't know how to do that and I would like to pre-order.
Okay.
Great. I hope you love it. I had so much fun writing
Actually,
it. It's
I
so
have it.
horny. It's so gross. Very wet.
Yeah, I have it pre-ordered on Audible too. I don't remember if you said your
That's
mom has an
phenomenal.
Audible account.
I think she
I
does.
know you've
She
got the
gave it
Kindle
to me.
account. So
Well,
yeah.
Oh, it was Kindle that I had. Okay, I'll
Right.
figure it
We'll
I
out.
figure it
don't know
out.
if I don't know if we've announced who's narrating it yet, but I can tell you that you'll like it.
Okay. Okay. I thought it was I thought it was your typical narrator.
I just can't remember if we've announced. I don't want to get in
Well, I
trouble.
mean, I thought it was in the fill the space. Ace, ask a question while
Oh,
I'm
why don't you ask me? I haven't been talking.
Well, that's my point. I'm looking something up, so you ask a question. I'm just trying to fill dead air here.
I'm not
You can
great at
ask her,
that.
you can ask them
Um,
where their sleeves went. I don't care.
I- um, I mean, does it? I guess my question is about the book you were writing, Spread Me. Um, is it mainly focused on the two main characters, or do you have other characters involved in the book as well?
It's an ensemble cast. Um, so the narrative point of view is very focused on the lead researcher, Kinsey, but she's part of a team that is very tight knit. They're isolated in a remote desert research station, and so you really get to know everyone quite well. Um, they also are, as people who are in an enclosed space for a long period of time tend to be, very enmeshed. Uh, and so their relationships end up becoming part of the dynamic that the specimen takes advantage of.
Okay, that makes sense.
And according to Audible, it is Exy Stands.
Okay, great. I'm so glad we've announced this because I'm so
So,
excited to talk about
so,
it.
so if it hasn't officially been announced, they didn't like tell the people at the website not to put it
Yeah,
up when you
that
were
hasn't
pre-ordering
been
it. Says
Yeah.
embargoed.
Sarah by Sarah Gailey, narrated by Exy Sands.
Yeah, Exy is narrating, and when my publisher contacted me to be like, okay, we're getting the audiobook together. Do you want us to round up some auditions for, do you have any ideas who you'd like? And I was like, it's got to be Exy Sam. It's got to
That'd
be
be Exy.
Exy Sam. And then I found out I got to hang out with Exy a little bit at Caitlin Starling's book event up in Portland, launching the Starving Saints. And Exy turned to me and said, as soon as you announced Spread Me, I contacted the publisher and said, will you read it? And so we were both coming at the publisher from either side, being like, we gotta work together.
That's great.
That is pretty impressive. Um, when you've managed to have your reader on board so much that
Oh, I just love getting to work with them.
well, we are getting up against your time, so I have to ask my required final question
Great.
that you're one of my favorite people to ask it to because you always have fantastic things to recommend. Tell me something you love, preferably a comic. We don't really have rules. Preferably
Oh
storytelling.
gosh.
Again, we don't really have rules, but something that you love that not enough other people have experienced, and you need them to because you want more people to talk about it with. Um, and you also don't have to hold yourself to one.
Okay,
Ace, I'm
good.
certain, would love to have a month's worth of reading.
Yes.
I'm gonna do I'm gonna do three. Well,
All
first I
right.
have to ask you, Chad, did I talk about Snagglepuss last time I was on here?
I don't think you did.
Whatever that is,
Okay.
it's an interesting name.
Okay.
Is that
Um,
the Mark Russell Snagglepuss?
yes. And I'm looking
Ah,
up
that's so great.
to make sure that I get up the members of the team right. Yeah, so Mark Russell's Snagglepuss, drawn by Mike Fian.
Right.
Exit Stage Left, The Snagglepuss Chronicles is an incredible graphic novel that reimagines Snagglepuss as a McCarthy-era closeted gay playwright
Yep.
who is fighting against the House Un-American Activities Committee and just wants to make art, doesn't want to be stuck in the middle of McCarthy hearing rigmarole, but gets dragged into it. And it's an incredible, incredible comic about censorship and especially McCarthy era censorship and the effect it had on art and the way that censorship and government interference in media production dampens art to the point of killing it. It's deeply thoughtful, it's sad, it's
Good.
beautiful, it's it's absolutely wonderful. So I would recommend everyone read that, especially queer listeners. This
Yeah.
will do stuff to your heart. It's a stunner. The other
Well, and
things that I
I'll
would,
toss out for Ace and any listeners who haven't listened to Mark on the show regularly. A, our episodes with Mark are always amazing. B, anything by Mark Russell is worth picking up and
yeah,
reading.
absolutely. I will read anything Mark Russell writes from now until the end of
Yeah,
time. No
yeah,
question.
yeah.
Um, and then the other things that I would really recommend that I love and I'm invested in and think more people would benefit from being invested in are online de-escalation trainings and connections with your local ICE rapid response team. There are on the ground networks in your area guaranteed who are working to protect your community from kidnappings by unidentifiable government agents, and you can get involved with those groups. They will train you and help you learn how to be safely involved in de-escalation, how to legally observe and record these kidnappings, and how to support the people who are being most impacted. You can find resources to get you started at my newsletter, Stone Soup. If you go to stone-soup.ghost.io and click on the featured post called Hammer Speech, there's a huge roundup of resources for how you can get personally involved today, right now, in helping support the people who are most vulnerable in your community.
And I completely forgot to bring up the Hammer speech because the Hammer speech was amazing. I know I passed it on to Ace. Ace, did you have a chance to take a look at it?
No, because remember I deleted the screenshot on accident.
Uh, well, no, no,
I
no.
had none of the.
I forwarded the email, so
You
you might have
did?
just missed it. Yeah, yeah,
Oh.
yeah. But
I'm not gonna touch the computer because I keep accidentally leaving the call. My mom has
yeah,
extra buttons on her mouse, apparently, that I did
yeah,
not
yeah.
know of.
You gotta watch
Yeah.
out for those.
But Sarah, give us the note card version of the Hammer speech. I mean, I encourage everybody to go read it at Stone Soup because it really moved me, but I won't do it enough justice. And if I look at it on my phone, I'm just going to want to read the whole thing. And if I do that, I might as well have you read the whole thing.
Well, I'll give you the 5 second summary is that we spend a lot of time in the world of literature talking about hope and whether hope is important and whether it's important for literature to instill hope in readers. And I am a grouch and a hopefulness Grinch. And my stance on that is that it doesn't fucking matter if you feel hope or not. A feeling isn't an action, it matters what you do. And sure, instilling hope in people is great, but hope is at best a tool. It should never be a finish line. It can tell you what direction you want to move in, but then you have to move in that direction. Otherwise, you're just standing still. And that's sort of the 5 second version of that speak.
It's get out and do something, however big or small. The other thing that I will say that I appreciate a lot in your emails is that you make it clear, do what you can do. Don't push yourself beyond your limits and trying to do everything at once because it's a marathon, not a sprint.
It
It's
is. And, changing the direction of a society is a real light as a feather, stiff as a board situation. The more fingertips you have underneath the body, the higher you can lift it. And you don't need to be the only one bench pressing a whole person. There's a
Right.
lot of people lifting with you, but everyone does
I mean,
have to put their fingers in.
Ga Gailey will bench press like 4 or 5 people for us, and then we can put in our pinkies. That's the way it works.
Great, great
I
plan.
Gailey's my superhero, so I get to rib them a little bit.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
Ace, anything else?
nope.
Right. Gailey,
I do
anything
not.
else?
No, this was wonderful. Always good to see you, Tad. Ace, so
Yeah.
wonderful to meet you. And
It
thank you
was
for
nice
having
meeting
me on.
you.
We'll have to do it again sometime soon for 22 panels.
Absolutely.
This has been Sarah Gailey, and we will see you after the next page.